Hey, good afternoon and welcome again to a Wednesday edition of the PCA Live 3 at 3. We have a really awesome guest today, Matt Booth from Room101 Cigars. First met Matt obviously a couple of years ago, but got to know him a little bit better at John Anderson and Curtis Draper Tobacco. They have a Little Puff charity event that they hold every year. And I got to talking to Matt Booth and really kind of got to find out all about his various creative endeavors. And I think he's definitely probably one of the most artistic and creative cigar makers that are out there. He's got a lot of different things that he pursues. Really fascinating, really good cigar. So we're really appreciative that he's coming on the show today to talk to us about everything Room 101 and kind of all the different endeavors that he's doing and how he's holding up during this coronavirus mayhem that we've got going on. And we're all also going to be joined today. Christine Morgan's going to lead the conversation. Christine, our resident connoisseur at the PCA staff of all things cigars. So without further ado, I would like to say I trademarked without further ado for this, but that's been around too long. I think I say it too much on these shows. But Christine and Matt, how are you both doing today?
Great. How are you? How are you, Matt?
I'm good, man. How are you? I'm trying to get it. I don't understand why I still haven't perfected this angle situation.
I know. You've done so many of these. Like, how many of these have you done in the last couple of weeks?
It's different every time, though.
Yeah.
I've done a few. But I will say that I've been, I think that it's quality over quantity, even with the, the heightened level of virtual interview and such. I think that we've been doing the right ones for the brand, and it's been fun.
Yeah, I love the fact you got the nice gray brick wall behind you because it almost feels like you could be saying, "I'm coming to you live from the Folsom County Prison."
Oh Lord.
The brick looks different there. I mean, yeah. I heard, but this is I painted that.
Yeah,
like no Black Mirror episode. Yeah,
it's perfect.
We're living Black Mirror.
Well, thanks for joining us today. We're gonna have a good conversation. I'll drop off here and let Christine run the conversation. And if I happen to, I like to say sometimes I'm sort of like the host ninja, where I'll jump in and ask a question and jump back out. But I always think it's better that people don't have to look at my goofy face for the majority of the conversation, So I'll drop off, let you guys have a good conversation. And as always, I'll be monitoring the comments if they come in, if you can see them. If not, if there's particular ones that are fun, I might pop them up on the video as well. So thank you again, Matt, for joining us. Appreciate it.
No, it's my pleasure, man. It's my pleasure.
So thanks, Matt, for joining us.
Morgan, I miss you terribly.
I know.
I hope you're doing well.
I am.
And, I guess first and foremost, I just would like to thank PCA, the board, and, the cigar business for this award. I'm honored to receive it. And, it's the first Cigar of the Universe award, and I'm honored. I understand there's going to be a more formal ceremony later, but this is, this is an amazing, so thank you very much for your consideration. And, onward and upward. What does the trophy look like?
That is TBD. It's gonna be a nice, fun surprise. It'll be on brand for you. I can assure you that.
Oh dear. Well then.
But again, thank you everybody for joining us, and please feel free to ask questions in the chat if you have.
And thank you for your votes.
Yeah, you to win this award. Yeah. Well, I think that this part of that award, part of the criteria is the face to appear in the most live shows. You've been all over the place.
I can't even hold a candle to some of the ravenous level of some virtual appearances by other cigar manufacturers, but I'd like to think that we've been strategic in the manner that we've gotten ourselves out there. And, like I said earlier, it's definitely quality over quantity. We've partnered a great deal with the girls at the TLE Experience, Reinhard from Cigar Journal. We had a brilliant interview session on Sunday, and as well as our own internal efforts with our cigar lockdown event that we ran last week. And I know I'm forgetting some people, and I don't mean to.
Antoine's Deep Cuts. Didn't you do that?
What's that?
Didn't you do Antoine's
Deep Cuts?
Yeah,
that's right. Deep Cuts. I did that. I cut deep early on.
On
with Antoine.
Yeah,
I was one of the first.
Josh.
I might have been the first.
Were you? It's a
I
great
think
show.
I might have been the first.
Yeah. Oh. Inaugural deep cuts.
I love Antoine.
I know he's good people. I
do.
love what he's doing. I told
He
him,
is, man.
told him
Solid.
like he's really helping you know, boost the morale. I think he was one of the first people to start doing that kind of thing.
And you know what's interesting for you and I Incompettent is that we're looking through a lens in terms of timeline with this industry that's very similar. You know,
Yes,
when I was starting, you were piloting your kind of virtual efforts, and you're kind of ahead of the game. You were one of the women that really spearheaded, I think, you know, the and obviously, you know, you have to be very sensitive when you say something like that, because someone will say, hey, I was a woman, I was in the business before, and it's not about that. It's just that, like, in terms of my my timeline in the business, you know, I remember having a tremendous appreciation for what you were doing with the stick lady endeavors and like your blend deconstructions, and it was before there was a lot. You know, I mean, you might have been one of the very first to be one of the more socially engaging, you know, female characters in the business.
I remember the first trade show actually that I met you. If I remember correctly, and please correct me if I'm wrong, it was probably like 9 years ago, somewhere along those lines, but it was in the Savinelli booth.
Stephen is a drone.
Yes. And
Savinelli pipes. Was it in Vegas?
Yeah, it was in Vegas. And I remember actually the cigar press party at the Cosmo. Was it 2011? Yeah.
2011.
And the cigar press party at the Cosmo. And like a couple of days ago, I actually went on their archives and was looking through like, pictures from that party that year, which was, that was crazy. That was a lot of fun back in those days. Now I have the opportunity to do more of this, which I didn't realize until a couple of weeks ago how much I miss doing this kind of thing, you know, just talking to the cigar people. Obviously at the trade show, you know, they keep me like locks away, so I don't get to walk around and do the videos and things like I used to. But that's why we have a great social media team, and you know, Josh is all over the place with all of that, like he did Antoine's deep cuts, and we're trying to do all of this here. But I've been trying to keep up with as much as possible. It's really great to see the industry like really band together, being such a social industry. Now all of us are social distancing, and you know, probably mental health is hurting a little bit. I know mine is, being stuck at home with the cats all day. But one of the greatest things I've witnessed is your guys' cigar lockdown. As soon as I heard about it, I called up Raul at Tobacco Leaf. They're in Jessup, and ordered my package and logged on. And I was so impressed, like from the very beginning. Like it was put together so well. And from start to end, the whole thing was support your B&Ms, support your local retailers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, and we channeled all, you know, all product through brick and mortar transactions. So it was a great way to, you know, it was feel good. It was, you know, I know based on what's going on, you know, all retailers are impacted by this to some degree. You know, some are closed completely and have been. Some are open. Some are finding new inventive ways to stay open. Shout out to those guys and the entrepreneurial spirit, and you know, and anything in between. So it's like, okay, how do we benefit a retailer, partner or not? And I think that it's very important to stress that, you know, out of the gate, one of my main focuses was this is not an opportunity that's available solely to people that currently carry my product. Like I want this to be a come one, come all, industry-wide open invitation to retailers to participate, because you know, how can we help a retailer ring their register that their doors are closed,
right?
And then from beyond, you know, as it gets easier, obviously, you know, to provide some level of additional benefit to a retailer's day in, day out business during this time, you know.
Well, not
what are we smoking?
Comments. I'm smoking the 10th anniversary.
Look at you. I'm smoking my virtual interview cigar that I've now smoked on multiple, just for shits. It's the Cigar by Pete Johnson.
Ah.
Because I was smoking a lot of Payback, to monitor production and consistency, and I want a little break from that. And so the Cigar is a very nice kick in the testicles of my palate. It's a very bold and brazen cigar, but still with balance. It's like Pete Johnson, just all
over
up
your
in
face.
my grill piece. It's fantastic, really. So,
all right, host Ninja popping in here real quick.
Hi, Scott.
Oh, hey there. I've noticed several people have been asking what's up Boofy. So where does that nickname come from? Does that come from the fantastic mop you have on your head, or the phenomenal beard that you have going, or is that something else entirely?
It's Boofy, baby.
This is Boofy, or just the last name?
I'm not going to be derailed here in answering this by your aggressive flirtations. I'm going to answer the question. Although I am enchanted, so this originally was a nickname that was bestowed upon me in the Marine Corps by some of my closer friends, and it's a spin on my last name. Later, my now wife Nikki, as kind of a tribute to the Bootsy Collins way, as he always says, it's Bootsy baby. She says it's Boofy baby.
Boofy baby.
And then I ended up, and then what really kind of locked it was I bought a piece of art from Bootsy Collins, and he wrote on it, "It's Boofy baby." So awesome. I'll send you a picture. So that's where that comes from.
Gotcha. I assumed that it was actually some sort of riff on that, but I did want to pay tribute to. He showed us obviously the hair on the last one, and we were obviously joking around about your hair versus mine, but it's that fantastic beard that you have going on too. So I just wanted to pay homage to that a little bit while we were on the show and make sure we remarked on that as well.
Yeah, there's some great people in the comments too.
Yeah, good stuff.
Later, I came to understand that on the East Coast, boofing was slang for the hiding of contraband in one's personal wallet.
Yeah.
I did not understand that in the beginning.
Yeah, a couple of
but now I understand that.
Yeah.
One quick question too.
I
should make sure you see this. Just to let people know that may not know where they might be able to find you online or social for Room 101.
Definitely check us out on Friendster.
Yes, I love Friendster.
We have a custom skin MySpace page. That's a big focus of our promotional efforts on the internet. Also, and I genuinely feel that all of our promotions on the World Wide Web are somehow collaboratively based on I see efforts on the web as a collaborative effort with Al Gore. I believe that he invented the internet. At least that's what I heard. So. But part of our ongoing collaboration with Al, Big Al, as we call him, at Room 101 HQ, we also have a beautiful spread on Instagram. Look us up: Room 101 Cigars, Room 101 Gin, Room 101 Brand, and of course my personal page, which you can find by searching my name at Booth.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
It'll be delightful.
All right. Ninja's going to disappear now for until something else comes up.
Yeah. That gin though, I had a bottle, finally finished a bottle. Some good stuff. Anything new coming down the pipe with that? Yeah. First time I had it, it was I'd made some watermelon juice. So that was fantastic.
We're just trying to do some different things over here that remain true to our core brand philosophies, and gin was in my opinion, the correct extension of our brand into the craft spirit world. Yeah,
I agree
for a myriad of reasons.
Well, yeah, I mean, and it's all too common in this industry. Bourbon, Scotch, rum is where a lot of people go. So I feel like gin, and it's funny because when I first started smoking cigars, it was gin and tonic all the time, just randomly. That's just what I preferred, as gin and tonic. So, seeing that as kind of like a throwback to when I first started smoking cigars. This is also back when you could smoke in bars in DC, and I remember going to going to concerts and just gin and tonic and cigars.
that was one of the chief reasons why I elected to develop a gin. I mean, there were more, but as it applied to the cigar world specifically, I wanted to do something that I believe many smokers had been educated as was the anti-beverage, if you will, or the anti-spirit for a smoking experience. And gin is a phenomenally versatile spirit. And what I mean by that is that you create your own botanical mix. It doesn't have to be one specific way.
Right.
In fact, it's can be any way you so choose. So, we chose to. Hey, how are you? No, it's all good, boss. How you doing? No, it's all good. Yeah, sure. We're getting some mail. Thank you very much.
Nice.
Our botanical mix is very, very citrus forward and juniper minimal. And the citrus element, the citric acid in that mixture really creates a burn that is, I believe, what the smoker is really looking for when they seek out a brown spirit to smoke, to drink when they smoke. They're looking for a burn that partners with the smoking experience, and that's really what that burn provides. So, our gin, even straight up with a cigar, is fantastic.
I don't think I've ever had gin straight up. Oh, where'd he go? There we go. Went away for a second.
Let me double check my
I can hear you.
Oh dear. I need my I just got to I got to check my connect here. Okay. There we go. So
technology.
What do you want to talk about?
We were talking about like the cigar lockdown. I kind of want to talk about that a little bit because I don't know if anybody in the chat saw it, but I believe you guys are going to have, or it is posted. Isn't it posted on YouTube?
Yes, it's live on YouTube. It's a live. What we did is we actually, and not to get too peacocky here, but this is really the first event of its kind in this industry, and we took the extra steps to actually build a custom platform. This was nothing short of a professional digital and virtual broadcast / podcast. I mean, it was very interesting. We had our IT guy actually. I mean, he worked easily for 2 months to build this platform. I mean, to the point where you could even FaceTime from your cellular directly into the show, and be featured in the show. And like I said, there it was a cooking segment from Chef Nicole, who for years ran Carne Vino in Vegas, and now and Chef Nicole is going to murder me because I forget the name of her new restaurant there. But you have to look her up, please.
Yes.
And Nish had a cocktail mixing segment, and it
was so good.
I thought it was it was cool, right? It was a cool balance between like some sort of Tonight Show-esque kind of situation,
with little Howard Stern.
But also a lot of good information. Was offered there, and like I said, the bottom line was to support brick and mortar retail and to bring our community together.
And
what do you do? No, thank you. I said when we sought out to develop it, I said, what do you do in the handshake business when you're forbidden to shake hands? How do we continue to keep that level of connection and connectivity with our people, consumers and retailers alike?
Right. And there's been like, I've been a part of so many like smaller shows, like people will just casually set up shows and, not to broadcast live, but just to stay connected all over the place. But this has really been really kind of like a band together moment for the industry. And it was just so refreshing to see. I mean, it's always refreshing to see, not just with things like this, but things in general, when you have manufacturers that are quote unquote competition, to shut that off, to realize that, retailers, they are the first place that all of our consumers go, and they're hurting right now because it can't. And that we have had a lot of people that have adapted. We've had some retailers that have quickly turned around and made their shops online or doing delivery, or there's even some that are doing like FaceTime calls through the humidor so you can pick your cigars that way, you know, just like hand select them over like a FaceTime call. So it's been really refreshing. And then you also have, you know, you guys backing everything up. I mean, you had so many videos from so many different manufacturers all across the industry. You know, you had the guys from Boveda and Rocky, Caldwell. I mean, everybody, pretty much everybody was a part of it, except PCA. PCA wasn't a part.
And you were tragically missed.
Maybe next time.
We make up for it now.
Right.
And you know, and genuinely, you know, it was because it was something that had never occurred before. And I think, you know, I would venture to say that maybe some people assumed we were going to fall on our face with it because it was a new endeavor, and there were a phenomenal amount of moving pieces. I mean, we literally drop shipped 15,000 cigars direct to consumer via, obviously, you know, completely within the boundaries of what is permissible, right? I mean, the retailers conducted the transactions, and we simply shipped as a courtesy for them, you know. And I think out of 15,000 cigars, I think, you know, I think we actually had a glitch and did not ship 4 people. And so obviously we're going to go far beyond, you know, making up for that with those consumers, obviously, because we did not want to misstep once. But I mean, you know, 40 cigars out of 15,000, I think is a pretty good ratio, you know. And every retailer immediately received, you know, they submitted their customers, and in return we responded with email with the tracking information for each individual. Are you taking notes, competitors? So
they should. I'm taking
sorry,
them for
I can't, you know,
I'm taking them for
it was a subtle flex, but you know,
you
I mean, I feel proud. I feel very proud that we were able to pull that off. And I think it was healthy all the way around. And like I said, some people opted to not participate on round 1. I think simply because it had been unseen to this point, so they didn't know what to expect, or possibly didn't even quite understand the magnitude. And most of those people have now approached us and said, "Hey, we get it now. We've seen it, and by all means, we want to participate on the next round."
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah, they absolutely totally should. And from start to finish, like, oh, we have a question. When will Room 101 have the next virtual event?
In terms of the event through that platform, you have to go to cigarlockdown.com, and all the details will be populated there in real time.
Good. And if you didn't watch the last one, check it out on YouTube.
My next virtual event is right now. I
consider
this an event.
After that, who manages your schedule? Like it has to be hard to keep it all straight.
I don't know. I don't. I mean, I do, but I don't well. You know.
Yeah.
Fortunately for me, I've been able to keep it together. You know, I tragically, you know, it's in my nature to want to do and want to. Of course, anyone that is supporting me, I am very, very driven towards reciprocating. And you know, in the past, I've had a nasty habit of overbooking, double booking, you know, and just you know, no good deed goes unpunished, so to speak, sometimes. So, you know, with this you know, quarantine atmosphere, knowing that there's one channel and one channel only right now to support, which is directly through this phone I'm sitting in front of, it's actually, although my schedule has been full, it's been easier to manage it.
Yeah. Nice to take a little
because it's not fragmented, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Instead of traveling all the time, I know that has to take a toll, especially with, you know, it seems like you're always traveling, and internationally, you did a fair bit of international travel too. But I think that
it adds up.
I think, you know, something like that, because there's no denying the fact that with all of this, the whole coronavirus, COVID, social distancing, like That's going to change the nature of the entire events industry and the cigar industry as well. So with Cigar Lockdown, you've created a great platform with that opportunity to do that and do something like multi-vendor events, like all at once over the course of, a several hour period, and really engage and educate, the industry as a whole.
Look, as entrepreneurs, we're constantly
Right.
walking a terrain of adapt or die, right?
Right.
And the shift to a more virtually driven business in this space has been, scratching its little claw at the door for some time. I believe that this is a catalyst that is going to move that much further down the road, much more quickly. And lo and behold, we're discovering ways that we can continue to pilot our business that are actually healthy for business. And hey, why weren't we already doing this? And we've implemented new programs even with our jewelry manufacturing business that are along those lines as well.
Yeah.
And we'll continue to do so. So like it or not, we are now going into V.2 and beyond of what the virtual age is going to be for our industry as premium cigar smokers.
Yeah. I certainly miss my cigar family though.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, that's been, like you said before, it's such a social industry, and being able to go and sit and relax and have a drink and just decompress. Miss my office happy hours after 5.
But the flip side of that is, I've had days where I've conducted virtual events with 2 to 3 retailers privately with their core consumers, on different sides of the country. I mean, I've actually done things that were complementary to our business and our business as it applies to under their roof that I could have never done physically.
Yeah.
So lemonade out of lemons whenever you can,
Yeah. Well, you've always been really good at all the collaborations too. With your relationships with everybody. Do you have a collaboration that impacted you, that kind of set your direction within this industry, or tied all your different projects together?
Well, look, I mean, I see collaboration. I always view every product that I've ever made as a collaborative effort. Now, some have been outwardly branded as such as they sit on the shelf and the way that they're represented, right? But when I sit down with the chief blender of any factory and we build a cigar together, that's a collaborative effort, because the product that we come up with is unlike anything that they would have made on their own, and vice versa. So I think our industry is rooted in collaborative effort in many ways. And that's honestly what's piloting a great deal. I mean, and this is not the newest of news at this point. When we were really getting, when you and I were entering the business, this progressively stylized, the craft beer of cigars, the boutiques, whatever you want to call them, the alternatively stylized in terms of brand direction cigars, their formulas were also very progressive.
Yeah.
Because they were being meddled with by, individuals that were very, very devoted and very much so deeply in love with this craft, but did not grow up as a 4th generation tobacco farmer.
Right.
So we're seeing things through a very different lens, and the products reflected that,
Right. Oh yeah, from start to finish, from blends to branding, like that whole thing. And that's one of my favorite conversations, actually. I don't want to arguments to have with people, rather I should say, is what matters more, branding or blending.
Well, I mean, look, the cigar forever will be the most important component of that picture, forever. However, after you have created a phenomenal product and you are dedicated to ensuring its consistency in both, flavor, personality, and product, as long as you're monitoring that and keeping in mind that it is forever the most important component of that equation, it is also at that point the least important component.
Right. Well, and it's an entire experience that it revolves around the cigar, and but isn't just about the cigar. What did Phil Ledbetter?
You know, I saw him text earlier, but like to answer it, I would have turned off the thing. So, oh, it's in the works, and it will be an up-down shop exclusive. You know, this is funny because when I was first discussing doing a 10th anniversary, Mr. Ledbetter and his partner Joel were in my booth at the trade show, and Joel, without a hitch, said, "Why don't you call it the 11th anniversary pre-release?" And I was like, "Man, I love that."
Yeah, shout out
to be a little bit more serious in this chapter of our business. Yeah, shout out to Joel.
But I will say that just
we're trying.
Sorry, I'm totally interrupting. But Phil's going to be on our show tomorrow, so you can pipe in and interrupt him and give him some grief tomorrow while he's on our show tomorrow.
Yes,
so.
Yes, please.
I'll pipe in.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Pun intended. Pun intended. Yes.
Him and Pete, right?
Yes.
I love Phil, man. He was one of the first people I met in the business. He and I have always been friends, and he's always, and he's an authentic friend because he'll give you the real deal, even and with delight, if he can somehow shit in your lap. I don't know how to put that. You know, he'll do it with a smile on it and in the spirit of friendship, but he will always give you the real deal.
Yes.
And that's how I knew he actually, him and Matt Krim, both.
Yes.
I received, although this has been a dawn of a new era for our cigar business, and we've received some accolades that were previously never bestowed on us. You know, Boutique Cigar of the Year through Tobacco Business Magazine. For the first time, we were featured on the CA Top 25 list last year.
Congrats.
Which, well, thank you. And I was really, you know, ratings are one thing, and I get it, like it's part of the picture. But for me, both of those things were nods to the fact that, you know, yes, we are in fact on the right track, you know, with how we're piloting this brand in this industry. But my first two pieces of critical acclaim came from Phil and Matt Krim, who don't dish out compliments easily, and both complimented a couple of our blends. And I remember thinking, I don't even need these cigars rated. Like if these guys are complimenting these cigars, like I'm set, like good, I'm good to go. So
I miss those guys hanging out with Matt and Phil and rosé, tequila, the trade show.
You know, Phil actually provided us some of our finest initial marketing imagery to date. You know, we have to find the picture, or we might recreate some of the imagery. You know, with some updated, you know, some updates. But you know, he really he was vested in our brand from the gate. Let's just say.
It was a good call. Good call.
Thanks, Phil.
Yeah, and hi Phil, and hi Pam, and Mickey Peg. Have to say hi to all those people. Ellen Gold. They're all up in our comments.
Oh, they're all creeping in here?
Yeah, everybody's just saying hi. I like a lot of these people are regulars watching our show, like Mickey. Oh,
Very
Phil
cool.
says he has to order now. He guesses he has to order now. So
Mickey Peg.
Yeah.
Industry legend. Alan Gold, industry legend.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Alan Gold. I saw him up there. He watches our stuff all the time. All right. So what can you say about the shadow army that's happening here on the Instagram? I assume we won't actually answer that question, but like I figured that was already a thing.
Apparently it is a thing. And I will say this was formed by a devout cyber soldier and brand enthusiast. And it was brought to my attention, and I saw that it was being done in good spirit and in good faith. And I thought, I'm going to endorse this and see where it goes. And it has already become a nucleus for some of the most ravenous behavior that I have ever seen from our brand devotees. And I have decided that I will gladly support and foster the growth of this dimension of whatever this is to become
Yeah.
for our brand fans and supporters.
Yeah, no, it's and I didn't realize that it was somebody else that started it. I kind of thought it was an offshoot because I mean you're so great with all the social media. Oh, what's Shorty saying? What's up? Still waiting on the gift card. Shorty still
I
waiting
have
on
a
the
gift card right here for you, Short Dog. Just come on over. I got a platinum gift card for you.
Oh, uh-oh.
I am gonna shower him with gift cards at some point.
With Shorty? Shorty with gift cards?
Of course.
You know, like make it rain?
Of course.
From 6 feet away?
Yeah, but they're gonna be, you know, we're gonna have to get some, I don't want to say dark web level gift cards, but like they're gonna be special. Yeah. I mean, it'll still be a great value for him, you know. But it's not just going to be like your standard fare CVS, Starbucks deal. You know, he can get I mean, any experience that involves me is going to be bespoke in nature.
Yes. Now my mail came. Knock on the door, my mail came. Yeah. Fight Club arrives. I knew that would happen while I was on this. So, but it's funny though, like I saw that and it reminded me of conversations that I had with people like 5 years ago about like a whole underground cigar group where you can pull in people from various levels, manufacturers, consumers, retailers, you know, kind of like a cigar industry like version of the Masons. So I like this whole like shadow army idea.
Did you just take this to the next level?
Maybe. I probably shouldn't.
You know, the one thing
get written up.
The one thing that doesn't work exactly for me is it, you know, it's at some point it's going to obviously have to evolve to the shadow core.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just based on, you know, my roots, but you know, Shadow Army was a good first stab at that, you know, so we're going to see where that goes.
I mean,
but just like anything else we do, it won't exactly be standard fare, and it won't be like anything else that I just like the fact that we have supporters and believers that would take the effort.
Mm-hmm. Oh my,
that says something.
That is not surprising to me. Like I've seen people that have gone like driven hundreds of miles to come see you at an event and get a box sign that they've had for years. Like, I mean, it's just incredible. Like your following is incredible. And it's because of how you've built like your relationships over the years and engage people on social media. Like you're fantastic at that. A lot of people could, you know, take a leaf out of your book with that. You're all over the place.
Well, you know what? It is never lost on me. And, you know, forever humbling. Whenever something like that happens, I literally, I can't even describe, you know, because it's like, okay, you know, I've been piloting the Room 101 ship for close to 18 years at this point, you know, in one dimension or another, or dementia, or however you want to put that. And, you know, when people are that in tune with the frequency that we're broadcasting on, I mean, it's you know, it's an affirmation that what we're doing has some level of value.
It does.
If people weren't doing that, I wouldn't be in business. So I'm forever grateful for that, for sure.
Well, and it takes this industry, like, God bless our industry. Like it's, you know, it's based on passion and the hope for like the better life, and that like your brand, like your lifestyle brand, like really makes all of that accessible to people. And I think that's fantastic. Like, and you can create like just with your products, you can create a whole experience just around your product.
Yeah, and that was always the vision, you know, that you know, I've always been desperately in love with the, you know, I mean, for lack of a better term, the European jet set brands of, you know, the 50s, you know, the Dunhill, obviously forever is my number one. The Davidonians have always had a phenomenal, I mean, they are the quintessence of luxury lifestyle, in my opinion, you know, and you know, but to create something akin to that, but modernized, you know, the 2020 version of what that would have been. And and some of the products at their core will forever remain, craft spirit, premium tobacco, bespoke made jewelry, et cetera, but they would look different, and there are of course other products and projects we're working on that would be present in, a collection of that nature at this time that would not have, been present in those collections.
Yeah, I love it. It's fantastic. I know I got.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah, that right. Wait, the comment or yours? What you just said?
What I just rattled off.
Yeah. No, and I have. I know here, I've your cigars are all over here. I have your gin. I emptied that bottle of gin, and I have a little special shelf for memorable bottles from different things and special occasions or whatever that I finished. That's why I have one of those. I have one. I have the original sticker that you gave me on my cigar caddy.
Oh, very cool.
I was going through my humidor the other day and I found some pre-release cigars from a whole other lifetime ago.
Oh my. Tragically, I've made a point now to kind of have my own collection, and it's a collection of things that are reflective of where all benchmark projects or things of that nature that I want to keep some element of in my own personal collection, as well as possibly even more importantly, I've reached out to some of my friends and guys that I respect in the business and slowly begun to amass a collection of things from my peers. And, I always propose to them hey, obviously I respect you, we're friends, and I respect what you've contributed to the industry. I would love to have something of yours in my personal collection, but I want it to be what you would want to be in my collection. And it's a very interesting proposition to table with these guys, because you see their, the hamster wheel turning, and what they come up with is many times not what I don't go into it with any preset expectation, but it's a very cool exercise, because one, you see them really investing themselves into thinking about it, and two, you end up getting something that's very, very heartfelt. I mean, Mom always said, if you're going to give a gift, give what you would want yourself, because then it's a solid gift, right? Yeah.
How do you store your cigars at home? Do you use humidors, cooladors? Do you have a big walk-in?
I have a locker size, wine fridge that I've converted into a humidor.
How do you regulate the temperature?
I forever had this yard sale of small humidors and all this, and so I was just okay, enough is enough, and I consolidated it to. I grew up a bit.
I started using coolers.
And they work phenomenally.
Oh my gosh, yeah. That's where a lot of my aging, what I use for my aging humidors is the cooladors, just because of the temperature, and you can just set it and forget it. Just open it up every once in a while, rotate. That's what I was doing when I found some of that old stuff, old stuff.
When are you going to do more of your blend reconstruction?
Oh God, I should, huh?
They don't even know. These people don't even know.
They don't even know. And my YouTube
they don't even know.
Is completely private.
Yeah.
Some of those got ridiculous, really, really ridiculous. And once I started working for PCA, I was like, you know what? I need to be serious and professional. Acts like an adult, with this grown-up job that I was so lucky to have the opportunity to sit and be here and now do things like this. But it's funny, we've started doing these the last couple of weeks. Just like everybody else, as a measure to continue to educate people and allow people to communicate and get to know, engage with you guys and us as a staff too. For the most part, nobody ever, until the last year or less, we didn't even do Facebook Lives and stuff like that. So it was there wasn't a lot of face to the association except at the trade show. So this has been really fun, but it made me really, really miss all of that. So, now I can.
Well, look, man, you were ahead of your time, and I think there's a place for that. It's it's all in the spirit of creation, right? And it's part of it's. I mean, you gave insight, I think, to people on this side of the curtain, how they could even tinker with and explore options in terms of blend composition. And, they're familiar with certain cigars and their personality and their profile at a retail level, and that's a finished product. So you challenge them to tweak that, and I thought that was really, it would be eye-opening, I think, for a lot of people.
Well, and it's funny, like I didn't even come up with that idea. It was Brian McGee, who now works with Crown Heads. He used to do that back in the day when he was working for another company, and he showed me how to do it, how he did it, and I just ran with it. So I can't even take credit. I don't think a lot of people really really realize that, but it is a really interesting way to change your experience. Even if you take a wrapper off a cigar and throw it over one and smoke it immediately. I usually like to let mine rest, but it kind of, anybody can do a cigar review, and they're so subjective, and smoking a cigar is such a personal experience that when I, started getting into the industry and was doing these radio programs and started my blog and everything, like, I just really wanted to do something different. And you see these people, sitting in cigar shops all over the place talking about what matters most. Is it the wrapper? Is it the binder? Is it the filler? Or is it because of the size? Whatever. So I wanted to kind of answer that question a little bit, but it's a little bit of everything. It depends on the size of the cigar. But yeah, which we went, we had a show with Dion from Illusione and Brian and Josh Everts, blanking on the name of his shop up there in Idaho. The Vault.
The Vault.
Yes.
Vault.
Yes, there you go. I knew it would come to me.
Folks.
Yeah, and we kind of really delved into that, and how if you want to maintain, the flavor profile from size to size, how you need to adjust. And even still, that's not necessarily going to be the same experience. So do you have a favorite size cigar? What's your favorite size cigar to smoke?
Smaller the better.
Yeah.
Petite Corona.
Yeah.
I mean, the Principe format for the Padron Anniversary is probably my all-time. I love the 64. I love the Natural.
Yes.
That's probably my favorite cigar of all time, quite frankly.
Really?
But something smaller. Packs a little bit. Oh yeah, for sure. Packs a little bit more punch. And you're in and out, so you can smoke multiple.
Yeah, it's funny. I see a lot of new cigar smokers, especially smoking bigger cigars. I was guilty of this myself. And I finally realized, I was like, you know what? For the time it takes for me to smoke this, I can smoke 2 cigars. So why not smoke 2 different cigars? It's funny how that works, right? But I did that myself. Like, I just wanted to be able to sit and relax for like 3 hours and have a cigar. Honestly, the more I smoked, the more I started to appreciate the smaller stuff, like Coronas, Petite Coronas. Do you like a good Lonsdale, Lancero? Principes are phenomenal, though.
Of course.
Isn't our good friend Jeannie? Isn't that one of her favorites? You remember, Jeannie? Jeannie Martinson?
Yeah, of course. The Padron 64?
Yeah, I think the Principe is her favorite size.
Well, then we share that in common.
Yeah. Do you, God, all these events like around here when we had the DC tweet ups and things. Do you remember the Cigar Fairy?
Of course. The Fairy Wings? I do very well.
Those
I do.
Fairy Wings made it to many a tweet up. Didn't they wind up down in Chattanooga, I believe?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The Chattanooga tweet up.
Chattanooga tweet up. And I remember it was at one point, at one of the tweet ups, it was you, Herklotz, and who was it? Was it Gordon too? That was on the mic.
Yeah, Herklotz was drums, I was bass, and Gordon was mic.
Yeah.
It was cool.
We need like a cigar industry band. How can we get that started?
I'm down.
Can we do it like a virtual?
I've been noodling again.
Have you really?
I mean, music forever will be my first love. And really, you know, the idea, as comical as it is now, was that I was going to, you know, create this jewelry collection and sell it so that I could support and sustain life on my own, so that I wouldn't have to bother with a job interfering with rehearsals and, you know, and all this nonsense, right?
Yeah.
And then, you know, you fast forward 17, 18 years into the future, and long since has my life been dominated by my business completely. And not even allowing for the peace in my mind that I need to sit down and write and practice. But now with my son, I have more motivation to get the chops back up so that I can be of influence and teach him, at least in the beginning stages. So that's where we're at in this household, you know.
All right. So starting to do
He has about 6 months before he has the patience and the dexterity.
Okay.
So I need to get with it now. You know, the clock is ticking.
What are you going to start him on?
You know, honestly, the appropriate thing to do is start them on the keyboard, because it's a phenomenal way for them to visually learn the scales, and you know, they see it in front of them, and you know, but you know, obviously he's seen me playing guitar and bass around the house, and so he's very, you know, he has me put on like, you know, Megadeth in the house full blast, and he rides his big wheel around screaming, and you know, and chasing me. So
Nice.
you know, I know where his heart's at, you know, but we need to lead him correctly, you know, into his Jedi training.
Yes, yeah. So what music is getting you through the stay-at-home quarantine besides Megadeth?
I mean, forever. I mean, I love Marvin Gaye. I mean, I'm a huge fan, always have been. Parliament Funkadelic and a lot of the old school stuff is also forever a daily in my rotation. So you know, I have a good mix of what I like to listen to.
Yeah, depends on the mood.
In terms of the more modern stuff, I mean, I love Machine Head. I love Phil Demmel is a phenomenal guitar player, and I think, you know, in you know, more of like the mainstream has never achieved that fame and notoriety that like a Kirk Hammett or something like that has. But you know, I became very aware of Phil early on when I did lights back in the day. I was a lighting engineer amongst many other things.
Oh, wow.
And the first band I worked for was a Bay Area hardcore band called Skin Lab. I guess they weren't really hardcore. They were like the first guys to do the detuned, like ESP custom made baritone guitars for them before baritone guitars were a thing. So like the baritone Viper that ESP has was really Snake, the guitar player. I believe to this day, still the guitar player. It was really initially for him that they built that, and then that became kind of a staple of their, you know, their offering in terms of guitar brand. But they opened up for a band called Violence, VIO-Lens, which I mean, all of the Bay Area like thrash guys will know that band. But Phil Demmel made a lasting impression on me at that show. He's brilliant. Also a gentleman named Pat Lackman, who I guess was a little bit better known for being the singer in a band called Damage Plan, but Pat Lack wrote a great deal of the guitar components of Halford's Crucible album, and had a band called Diesel Machine back in the day, and kind of like groove metal kind of stuff, very funky, very, very heavy, which I love very much also. So those guys are huge inspirations to me. I don't know if that adequately answers the question. I thought about Phil Demmel, because years later I ran into him at a Japanese metal festival called Loud Park, and he at that point had been playing for Machine Head, which I think is a little bit more well-known band than some of those other groups. And when I realized it was him, I had this very like fanish reaction, which I think tickled him very much. You know, I need to get a hold of him. I'm going to set him free shit just because I admire him.
You should.
How about that?
You should.
That's how endorsements work in our house.
Yeah.
We like you, so we're going to send you stuff.
Sending you stuff. I like
Different
it.
approach.
There's been
Yeah.
a lot of like the music industry is another industry that's like really stepped up and done a lot of like live shows and things too, which I love.
Yeah.
And
Well,
yeah,
and look,
so
and
I've been doing a lot of that.
Well,
Yeah.
and they need to, because the live component of the business is being decimated right now. I mean, there are some, I forget, I was talking to a friend of mine that does some guitar teching. He and I were talking yesterday, and he told me that some states have announced like no live concerts until the fall of 2021 or something like that.
Yeah.
And this isn't something I'm familiar with, but this is like a guy from the business that's telling me this. So, you know, what are they, you know, what do you do, you know?
Yeah, I know there's like around here in DC, I think the next time there's a show that hasn't been canceled yet is like August. I know I had a couple either rescheduled or canceled. I know the next time I'm supposed to go
and
to
we'll
is like
see if that
Deftones in
even
August.
happens,
Right, yeah.
Because some of this is just like allowing time to play out to
Right.
see what's actually even possible.
And again, that's something that'll never be the same. You know, like, 'cause you can only like, can you imagine going to a concert and having to like social distance and wear a mask? Like,
I mean, what does this mean for anybody? I mean, what does this mean
right,
for a bar, a restaurant?
right.
You know, what type of you know, restrictions are going to befall them in terms of capacity levels? And I mean, if this thing plays out
Right.
in that extreme, I mean, could you imagine a bar and a restaurant that the stools are 6 feet apart and no one can stand in between them? And
Right.
I mean, what does that even mean? How does that look for a restaurant?
Kind of takes out the whole point of it. And I know, like, I've seen things just, you know, being in the events industry, everybody's response to how they're going to do that. And it is things like separating tables, limiting capacity, you know, especially in places like Vegas, you know, because it's nuts. But like, if we can't have concerts till 2021, it'll break my heart. And DC,
I'm very disappointed by that.
yeah, like we get such good music around here. That's always been like one of my favorite things. And like back in the day when I was a new cigar smoker, you could smoke everywhere, anywhere and everywhere. So I'd be, you know, at like a hate breed show smoking a cigar, you know.
You know, tragically, we are the shunned at this point.
I know.
And have been.
Yeah. That's why I love things like, you know, the cigar bash. And we had the cigar bash, because when now do you get to go have a cigar and see some live music? So, yeah.
But this is why, you know, I mean, and not to harp on it, but like we built a custom platform for that event that is our own. It is, you know, under our control. It's our world. There's no, you know, regulation, you know, like I know Facebook/Instagram, whatever, they've implemented a lot of, you know, brand sharing type regulations related to tobacco that don't even exist in this country yet, you know, and that's why we have very meticulously curated our presence online, where, you know, the elements of our brand are represented cohesively, but they're also represented very separately.
Yeah.
You know,
like I want to see a Cigar Lockdown concert. You can get Herklots and you and whoever.
I want to see, you know, I want to see a lot of things. And
if I could have one request, that's it.
We could do such a thing. We could do such a thing.
It'd be so much fun. Take me back to that tweet up. I'll have to send you that video.
One of the best times ever, man. And that's really when, you know, my personal path in this business, I was falling so desperately in love with our industry, our community, our culture. And that event really was like the nucleus of all of it. You know, it was full immersion. Like if you wanted to come fall in love with our industry and our people, all you had to do was pull up to that event.
Yeah.
And you would be forever changed.
Yeah. God. And so many great people that traveled so far to get there. Still remember the fairy wings. That's one of my favorite parts. Like hair in my lip gloss. Oh wow. So with all of this, you know, everybody gets super creative in our industry. Who do you think will be the first one to have a cigar called social distancing? Who's most likely?
Oh, I'm sure it's already in the works.
I know.
You know,
or something like with the coronavirus virus thing. Yeah, I'm curious to see who comes up with that first.
I mean, for how many cigars are produced, I wouldn't doubt that it's already sitting in a store somewhere, to be honest with you.
I think that could be some fun opportunities to distribute those as well. You can only accept them from 6 feet away.
Right. They have to be thrown at you.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then now this opens up all sorts of additional merchandise, like the cigar catching mitt.
Yeah.
You have to have a mitt that allows you to properly catch a box of cigars.
Or like a hat with one of those little basketball hoops that'll like catch it. Or you can just get hit in the face. Yeah.
You see? This is why we got together. It's a creative session.
Right.
We didn't even know.
You're welcome for the free ideas, everybody. Alec Bradley is in there. Says hi, Mr. Booth. There's an idea. There's an idea for you.
Mr. Bradley.
Yes, Alec Bradley.
Mr. Bradley is in?
Mr. Alec. Or is that the Alec Bradley main page? I can't tell. Can't read. I have to squint.
Hi, Alan.
So let's see. I just had some like little rando fun questions. What's the first place you'll go to when all of this is over? It's the first thing you'll do.
I'm not actually going to stop quarantining myself. I've actually become very accustomed to being home. So I don't intend to leave. No,
to stay home. Do virtual events.
Like catch me here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if people want to have an event, they can come here. It's fine. We have barbecue. It's very nice. Summertime's very pleasant here.
How are the streets out there? I saw recently somebody did like drone footage of all these like, I think it was Vice. They were showing like drone footage like all over the country.
I'm sure.
That is just so eerie. Like even driving into
it's empty.
To go to the office, there's like no traffic regardless of what time of day it is. I feel like I'm in an episode of Black Mirror. And I'm just ready. I missed the cherry blossoms this year. I always see those. I'm like, I guess I'll go watch the cameras that are, hanging out on the mall instead of being like, people that are joining out in the wharf. Did you guys have anybody that still congregated around there and got in trouble like we did?
Around where? Oh, in this area?
LA.
No.
Yeah. No. Everybody. Wow.
Not to my knowledge.
Yeah, everybody here is like, we'll still go gotta stay home, so let's just go barbecue at the park. So yeah, there was a lot of that. Who do you think would win in a fight? Tyler Durden or Walt White?
Like what kind of fight? Like cat fight, mud wrestling, jello wrestling?
Anything. Just depends.
I'm gonna say Walt. I'm gonna say Walt White.
Why would you say Walt White?
Because he would use his mind as his weapon, and as my son knows at 4 years old, the strongest brain in your body is your brain. Walter White would.
Walter White, not Tyler. I mean, he doesn't exist anyway, so except in the mind.
I think Rick from Rick and Morty would win.
Oh, I just started watching that.
As displayed on the Vindicators episode.
I need to watch that.
Yeah.
I just started watching that.
Forward-thinking gentleman.
Yeah. I've used this time to catch up on things. I've been telling myself I was going to watch The Sopranos and The Wire and Rick and Morty.
I like Rick and Morty because it's bitingly intelligent.
It really is. It really, really is. Does your son watch Rick and Morty?
He does.
He does?
He does.
Does he like it? Yeah.
He does. Yeah.
Does he love you being home all the time? As somebody asked earlier.
My son, honestly, okay, so first of all, this is the longest our family has ever been together physically.
Yeah.
So I am, I couldn't be happier and more content in that regard. And my son, we have a very, very special bond. And, he doesn't do the best with my travel. And quite frankly, neither do I. I miss him tremendously. And typically when I get home, there's a period of time where there's a little bit of acting out kind of thing. And, he, He's literally been he loves more than anything us being together as a family at our home. That's what he loves. Even when we travel, you know, he loves, because I try to take them with me as much as possible.
Yeah.
He always wants to know, you know, what picture house we're going to get, which is the hotel, which is the picture house. And,
Oh.
you know, which picture house are we going to? And then he'll ask about, it's funny. He's like, Dad, you remember that one picture house? And he has little names for them that I remember which
Oh.
ones they were. Sometimes, you know, like the brown picture house is the Courtyard Marriott in West Palm Beach,
Okay.
as an example. And he remembers little details about them, right? And you know, but far more than that, he loves being at his gray home,
Oh,
and he hasn't been happy. I've never seen him happier. We're just having we're having the time of our life out here
good. He's
in
a
that regard, you know.
well-traveled little dude. Like he's been coast to coast and worldwide, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, especially when he was a little more portable, I would carry him in that chest carry, and you know, we went to, you know, Paris Fashion Week. We had pop-up shops and department stores in Tokyo. He went with me there, you know,
Oh,
and just ran around the world together. He got on a little bit of a travel ban. I put him on a travel ban. This was around the time that he became 3, and it actually centered around your trade show. We went as a family, and he was not behaving politely, and it was an added element of stress to an
yeah.
already, you know, a tremendous evolution, right? It was actually the year that we were relaunching our cigar business, so it was great. It was like no big deal, no pressure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So after that, I said, you know, you're on travel restriction for a minute, and then he, you know, he eased out of that. Now we're back on,
Yeah.
you know,
Trade show is
now we're
hard
back
enough
on
when
the
you're
road.
going by yourself. Like I can't even
Oh,
imagine like trying to do
mama
that.
bear's stressed out, the kids getting wild, you know. So,
Mm.
but
Yeah.
yeah, but he travels well because he's used to it. It's something that he's done from birth, so he's actually very well mannered for the most part.
Yeah.
You know, on planes and all that.
Yeah. I can't even imagine. Like I don't know if it's better that I'm glad with all of this I actually don't have roommates. Like I don't think I could do this with being locked in the house with unless they were people
Oh
that
yeah.
I loved. Just sucks like not being able to travel and go see, you know, family and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Need to go up to New York and see my new niece.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
How old is she?
She is a week old.
Oh, a freshie.
Yeah, Maylee Grace.
Congratulations.
Thank you. First time I'm an aunt. Brother took
I
the
love the
pressure
name
off of me.
Grace.
Yeah.
This was my grandma's name,
Mm.
and I actually have Grace right
Oh
there.
wow.
And you know, my son, if he had been my daughter, he would have been named Grace.
Ooh.
So his name is Grayson. You know, as
Well no.
a more masculine version of Grayson.
Yeah. So has all this put a stop on any tattoo plans for you? Or can you
I have some space, like a lot, you know, this, so, you know, obviously I'm working on a bodysuit. My carcass is mostly open,
yeah.
and it's kind of like the last large area that's open on my body.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, and I've been wanting to get to it for a while. I mean, you know, other things have to take priority, but of course, with this downtime, I've kind of got that itch back,
Mm-hmm.
kind of planning out how I want that to look and whatnot. So, you know, when it opens back up, I might get started. Tragic but true. All the space I have left is some of the most excruciating landscape left on my body,
Oof, save all
and
that
I
for
know
last.
it.
What was the most
Should have
painful
done it
part so
first.
far? Like what's the most
For
painful
me,
areas? Yeah, so far, what was the most painful area that you've had done?
you know, I have a little bit on ribs and stomach, and that stuff is very, very brutal.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, the thing is like, you know, I get big work done, so it takes its toll on you physically, and as you get
Mm-hmm.
older, it's less and less polite, and you can get sick, and you really have to take care of yourself. So I'm not, I might actually just fly one of my friends up here and have them do it at my home, so I can just go straight to bed afterwards,
Just go,
and
let that adrenaline like calm down after. Yeah.
yeah, it's no good. It can do stuff to you, so you got to be careful. And so there's that. But yeah, no, I have some ideas, so we'll get back to that.
Eventually, yeah. I'm looking forward to that too. I was actually planning one like right before all this happened, and I'm just like,
well, now you can make sure you want it.
No, I do though. Well, now it just keeps evolving. So like I'm planning a Fight Club tattoo with a friend of mine. That's
portrait of me.
Yeah, that as
Fight Club inspired, like me holding that soap thing that says Fight Club.
Yeah, but it's really
Is
a
that what it
urinal
was?
cake. But it's really a urinal cake that says Room 101.
Well, I mean, of course.
With your like,
thanks for paying attention. That's how you know someone cares, is when they pay attention to details like that.
God, all I remember. So like you do, like around you and your brand, like you create like this sensationalism, which has always been like so entertaining to me, because you don't really do anything to necessarily overtly encourage it. People will just go into a bathroom and pull a urinal cake out of the bottom of a urinal and then put it in their pocket.
Or their laptop bag.
Or, yeah.
Or IPCPR branded satchel, whatever you guys give out.
Yeah. Yep.
Reports.
Yeah.
Came in.
And from what I know,
you
don't
figured out who did that, though.
I know. God. I'm sure you can find that on social media somewhere, maybe. Somebody proudly.
I don't know, man. Some secrets in this industry will forever be kept,
Some will,
I mean, how did they infuse the acid? Who placed the urinal screens in the trade show bathrooms in the convention? I mean, some things we will never know.
Yeah, I don't know.
But there's a shroud of mystery that makes these things more powerful. And that's part of, mystique can be a very potent beast.
Yeah. Oh, that just goes to show you can brand anything, literally anything. So how many people now actually, so since we're talking about branding and tattoos, how many people have Room 101 tattoos that you know of?
It's interesting you ask. And I was actually, one thing that I do want to do, and this may be the last little bit of inspiration I need to just go ahead and do it, is I really would like to collect. Can you hear my son up there?
Yeah.
Can you hear him?
Yeah.
Playing with a dinosaur.
Oh,
is that Raptor Blue with battle damage? Nice. Battle damage Raptor Blue. So super cool, man. So I can confidently say that we are probably the most tattooed brand, at least in this industry, that exists, and it just comes from time and grade, and the fact that a great deal of our branding is very art forward and brand minimal, and I've always made a point of that to be constant as it relates to our brand. But we, I thought, man, it would be interesting to put together like a mini coffee table book. I mean, there are guys out there that have like sleeves, leg sleeves, all of our characters, and a good deal of people over the years from the cigar business and fans and supporters and believers that have tattoos that are directly, inspired by our brand artwork. So, I don't have an actual count, but it's actually pretty significant.
I bet. I mean, I see the sensationalism like around that brand. Who does your art for your brand?
I have a couple guys that I work with, all friends, and most of them are tattoo artists first, and guys that I consider to be genuinely talented beyond a single lifetime. So
I like this idea for a coffee table book, or just in general, like tattoos of the cigar industry. Like I've gotten tattoos in cigar lounges and stuff too, and those are probably some of my favorites. You know, where I could sit on a cigar and a tattoo.
I don't know if you were in attendance, but we had an event long ago at Bethesda Tobacco when Mike Copperman's still on the shop. Shout out Mike. And Mike actually, during the event, got a big skull on his arm that had a big 101 on its forehead.
Oh.
And then I tattooed someone else with the 101.
You tattooed it?
I tattooed. It might have actually been the tattooer that let me tattoo him.
Yeah. My brother actually tattooed the guy that tattooed my Lotus on my shoulder in the cigar shop too. It's kind of funny. They tattooed matching little lightning bolts, which is kind of funny. Like being able to tattoo a tattooer. Kind of a fun little thing to say.
For tattooers, this is the greatest honor.
Yeah. Let's see. Alec Bradley says, Matt Booth, what cigar tattoo would you get that's not Room 101?
Obviously, a portrait of Pete Johnson.
Like caricature style, or like actual?
Oh, no, photorealism.
Okay.
Photorealism.
Where?
Yeah. Wherever I have space left.
I don't know. I considered it
somewhere near and dear to my heart.
Yeah.
Because it would be based on or Rocky. Because I have a really sensational man crush on Rocky. It might be Rocky. But both would be based on respect and man crush alike.
Okay. Just a tattoo of their face. But like, but you know, like it's, so you go back like even 10 years and everybody looks so different. Like, you know, we've really seen each other like grow up. So the question is, at what version?
What version?
Yeah, of either of them would you get?
Man. Oh, I think early days, man. You know,
yeah.
Vibrant, young. I mean, you know, because cigar years in many ways are like dog years. You know, so it's like every year. I mean, but dogs, it's 1 for 7. I think for us, it's like 1 for 10. You know, so if you pass the decade point in the cigar business, I mean, you're in the century club, I think. You know.
Ooh, yeah. I think we probably all feel that, especially with the amount of travel that most of us do. That'll get you. That'll get you. But I love those early days too. Like those are some of my favorites. You know, the very, very beginning, where you really get to know everybody. And, you know, there was a lot of, you know, like I still remember that cigar press with you and Jonathan Drew and Huber was on that. Dion was on that. Rico. Who else? Who else was on there? Yeah. Well, yeah.
Oh, my son. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Sorry.
Well, do we have any more questions? Scott, do you have anything? Sorry.
No, it's just been fascinating just to sit here and listen like a little fly on the wall. It's been fun. It seems like I'm just sitting here chilling and just like eavesdropping on a couple of old friends having a drink at a bar.
That's exactly what this is. Matt, you're probably one of the people I've known the longest in this industry.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's kind of that's the feel, right? I think that's one of the biggest things that people are lacking right now. What people are wanting more than anything is just an ability to go and kick back and a drink and a cigar with friends, particularly obviously this industry, right? So it's been good to get some insights. Know Christine a little bit better because obviously we work very closely at PCA, but also Matt to get to know you better as well. So that's kind of it for me.
My pleasure.
Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. I think join us in Raz, Phil, and Pete tomorrow when they come on the show, and maybe we'll get Pete to say he'll get a tattoo of you on him, and that way maybe we can make that happen sooner rather than later.
Can we do that on PCA Live too? Because that would be
fun. Right. Let's do that. Yeah, let's do a tattoo show. Yeah,
man. Can we have a tattoo event at the office when all this opens up?
Yeah, we'll look into some liability in terms of what we'd have to undertake on that one. But yeah, that'd be pretty fun.
Can we have a tattooer on the show floor in our booth?
Oh,
does that work?
Lord.
Sure.
Actually, yeah, it's just the people have tried. It's
Because
just
it's like a health
stuff.
thing, right?
Yeah. And especially now with all the coronavirus thing, like this year might be hard. But yeah, I know people try to do it. I mean,
Next year.
yeah. Yeah, we can make that happen. I think somebody tried a while ago, but just because of all the health concerns, I mean, it was hard enough, we get the guys doing the shaves and everything, but I personally think that'd be fun. And just do Room 101 like brand tattoos.
Well, I don't know. I think that, and tragically, I also run a business, so you're forever dodging exposure when you're leading a business, and I don't know about that, but we would get maybe some of
that are like a nod.
Yeah, some of our core guys would do it. I don't think we would offer them to customers, at the show.
Yeah, it's Vegas. We can find a way to do something, right?
Right.
And maybe it'll be my first tattoo.
Oh, that's right. Join the club. Get a cigar industry. I mean, at least I feel like you at least need to start with a PCA logo.
Hey, look, Matt, if you're willing to help design it, then I'll get it. I've had ideas. I've had ideas for years. So look, I smoked a Cowboy One when my son was born. I've always thought that I wanted to incorporate in the Flor de las Antillas when my daughter was born. I wanted to incorporate both of those in some sort of tattoo with their initials in some facet or another. So it's one of those that I've been meaning to get around to for years now.
Yeah.
We'll do it right.
Yeah.
The right person do it.
Yeah. There's some great people in this area, Scott.
I know. Very true. But anyway, that wraps it up for me. I don't know if anybody says anything else, but I just wanted to say, thank you very much, Matt. I appreciate your time. It's a lot of fun getting to know you better. I have been super jealous watching you guys both smoke, so I'm actually going to make sure I get a good one in today. It's great weather, so I'm going to get a good one in tonight after dinner.
It is a nice day today.
Yeah.
Matt, thank you so much. So good to talk.
Yeah, and look, I know you guys could have anybody on your show, so I appreciate you taking the time to include me, and it was I enjoyed the conversation.
Yeah, we actually bumped what's his Princess or Prince Harry and Princess whatever to Kate Middleton to have you on. That's how in demand this is. Yeah. Oh, Kurt Kendall, solid. I love that suggestion. Kurt Kendall suggesting that I get a tramp stamp, so that's exactly what I'm going to do.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Done.
Of course.
A butterfly with my face in it.
Yes, and we can do 720 and 4 on the wings for Kurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, man.
Yeah.
You can just have the banner from the 724 thing,
and
the thing
that
now says K.A. Kendall. You can do that.
Yeah. I feel like you could easily turn a cigar brand into butterfly wings with your face.
There you go.
Silence of the Lambs Part 3 there.
Oh Lord, good gracious.
The cigar version.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All the stuff. All right. Well, then, thanks everybody for joining us this afternoon. Again, Matt, thank you. Christine, thank you. Stay safe. And then we will be on tomorrow at 3:00 with Pete Johnson from Tatuaje and Phil Letter from Up Down Cigar in Chicago. And we have a members-only town hall tomorrow at 1:30 for a quick 45 minutes with Representative Guy Reschenthaler from Pennsylvania. So he's a U.S. representative, huge cigar smoker, very big supporter of ours. So it's a members-only event. It's a webinar, so you can log on. You'll be able to ask him some questions about some things and have a good chat with him. So on that note, everybody have a great rest of your afternoon, and we will see you all soon. Stay safe, and as always, smoke them if you got them.
Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.